Well, it just turned 2020. Happy New Year, everybody. Sorry I hadn't uploaded a video in a while. I really haven't had anything interesting going on. I haven't built any wind turbines since last spring. We're coming up to another spring where people start getting interested in wind turbines, so I'm hoping to see a few orders. If not, I'm still continuing on. I just don't have the money to do it. So I've got some new tools I'm going to show you. And right now, I've got one little project. Like I said, I have things to do. They're just not wind turbine related. So a few days ago, coming back from the family gathering where we exchanged Christmas gifts, my son, who was driving in front of me, called me and said, "Hey Dad, one of your lights is out." So I drove the remaining 25 miles with one headlight. Luckily, that was New Year's Day. Our Christmas was delayed by a week. New Year's Day, the cops were out, and I saw several of them while I was driving in the evening with only one headlight, but they were more focused on finding drunk drivers, I believe, so they left me alone. But in the meantime, I purchased some LED lights, and I've seen a lot of different videos of installing these things, so I don't think I'm going to show you that. I'm just telling you what I'm about to do. I've seen these, a lot of different prices on these, and these that I bought were two for about 40 bucks, so that's not too bad. I don't particularly like the plastic lens on that. I prefer glass, like the stock lights that come on my Jeep. Maybe that'll work for a couple years. I'll figure out whether I like the LED or not. If you can look up inside there, there's a lot of corrosion on the plating in there that shines the light. So they've been kind of dim for a while, even with both lights working. So we're going to switch them out. And like I said, I'm not going to show you the whole process, and I'm going to get that done real quick. Okay, now that's done. I want to give you a little review on something that I've been checking out for about 19 years. Okay, now this is under the hood of my Jeep. And this is a red top Optima battery. This one's new, or fairly new. It's just a couple months old. This replaced one that I had put in here, I guess it was in about 2000. See, I bought this Jeep, and this is a 1999 Jeep Cherokee. I bought it in 1999. When I looked at it on the lot, it had 12 miles. When they gave it to me, it had 600. So they had to, I always hate the way they have to do that. I'd rather break them in myself. But anyway, when I got that, I'm living here. This is the building that I live in. The bottom area is where I work. The top is where I live. So when I drive the Jeep, most days of the week, it goes from this spot to the front of the building so people know that we're open, and then the evening from the front to the back. So 8 o'clock in the morning it goes to the front, and 7 o'clock in the evening it comes back to the back. And then Sunday I might go do some shopping or different things, but it doesn't get driven much. So it's very, very hard on the battery, because you're starting it here and then you kill it up there, and unless you sit there and rev it up about 2,000 RPM or so. Now, just letting it sit at an idle doesn't really charge the battery, so you can't just start it up and walk away and expect it to charge the battery. It's got to run about 2,000 RPM, so that's equal to you driving down the freeway. So it just wears down the battery, you know, it drains it down. So what I did in 2000, when the original battery went bad, it wouldn't hold the charge anymore. I charged it up with a charger, but it just wouldn't hold the charge. So I put a slightly larger alternator in there. That's down underneath. I don't know why they had to put it down so low on this, but slightly more powerful alternator so it was charged faster. And I put an Optima battery in here where it would handle the deep discharge. You know, if it's able to survive through the week, then on the weekend when I drive it a little bit more, it has a chance to charge up from the charger. So, but anyway, the original one lasted from the year 2000 to 2019, 19 years. I'm hoping I get another 19 to 20 years out of the new one. We'll find out if I still have the Jeep in 20 years. Yeah, the Jeep is still not bad shape, but it isn't new anymore. But that's enough on that. Optima batteries, yes, I recommend it. They're a lot more expensive, but they last a long time. And I've just got a couple more things to show you. These are from somebody who knows what it is to work on things without the right tools. And he sent me this. You know, when he told me he was going to send it, I thought he might have had a used spot welder that he was going to send me to try, and so I said okay. And then whenever it came in the mail, this brand spanking new, still in the package. This runs off of 220. I don't have 220 in the shop, but I will find some way to hook that up to try it. But he also sent me a video of how to spot weld aluminum, which that may be something I play with on the next turbine I build for myself. I won't do that for somebody that I'm selling it to because I haven't tested it. I want to be able to build a turbine, assemble it this way, and then put it up in the air for however long it takes till we have a nice big storm to find out if it rips apart or not. So that's one thing about my turbines, is they may not be the fastest thing in the world, but they can withstand the high winds. I want to find out if this helps them do that or if it's a problem. But it was awful nice of him to send me that. I can't thank him enough for that. That was just awesome. But that's not the only thing he sent. He sent this thing, and I think he had pity on me for doing all the cutting on those big aluminum blocks, where he sent me this, which is a metal cutting chop saw. I don't think it's big enough to cut the pieces I use as pulleys, but for cutting pieces like this, where I make the brackets for the generator to be mounted to, I think it wouldn't have a problem with cutting that. And I don't think it would cut this, which is the tubes that mount. So if it was going to cut that, then it would be, I mean, it's just not going to do it. but it's going to cut a lot of things that are a little bit smaller than that, and I use a lot of things that are smaller than that, so that is just awesome. Now I have been using see this abrasive saw right here. I call it a dragon. It throws sparks and smoke and fire all over the place as you use it. It works, but everything you cut with it gets hot, and sometimes whenever you get steel hot, it work hardens it, especially if you get into stainless steel. It really makes it harder to work with after you've cut it that way. So if I can cut stainless steel on here, that's awesome. Now the 2-inch pieces I cut. Now the nuts that I make, this is just a piece, a 2-inch diameter on the outside. Now that might actually work. I bet you that looks like that'll work. So that's going to take a lot of work out of this stuff. Now that is stainless, but this isn't going to be as hot as the Dragon over there. So I mean, if the part comes out fairly cool, then I don't have to worry about it being work hardened. I'm very excited to try this out, and I'm very excited to try this out, and thank you, Dan. I really do appreciate that. I would really like a really big bandsaw to be able to cut stuff like this and even bigger things. So I've got to have something that will cut 6-inch pipe before I can start building the generators that I have over here. So what I've done is I have ordered a plasma cutter that it does TIG weld, plasma cutting, and arc welding. So it should make a good complement to the rest of my stuff. So if I have to cut 6-inch tube, I can do that with a plasma cutter, I believe. I'll have to make some kind of a roller where I have rollers on two ends of the pipe that I'm cutting, and then turn the pipe as I cut a straight line. I think that's the plan. I'll show you that cutter as soon as it comes in. It's supposed to be here later on today. Made it. I'm very excited. Very excited. This is something I've needed for a while. So soft foam I can use for something else. That is I think that's a moisture catcher for the air that feeds into it. I'm not real sure. I'll find out. That's the TIG set up. That's the plasma cutter set up. Open it. I can't close it again. Okay, so it's the TIG and the plasma cutter. That was a dryer, I think. This, I'm hoping there's a pedal. Nope, that's not the pedal. This is the gas regulator, the argon gas that it requires. I will have to wait a little while on that. It's going to cost me another 90 bucks. I don't have that in the budget right at the moment, but main thing is I have the parts where I can do that with, or connect it up with. And then let's see what we've got here is this is the the arc weld, the ground clamp, and the air hose for the argon gas. Alright, now we're getting down to the main thing here. And I'm just going to grab it and pull it out. Isn't that pretty? This has some pretty good ratings on it. So I'm hoping it lives up to all of its claims. And this is supposed to be a 110 volt or 220. I have to figure out what plug I need to buy. That is pretty, and hopefully it won't be too long, and I'll be working on some projects where I actually put that rascal to work. Anyway, thanks for watching, and Happy New Year.